children, how would you like to listen to two exciting stories which children have loved and enjoyed for years and years all over the world? Okay. Girls and boys, all of you sit down quietly and listen to me. Once upon a time, children, long, long ago, there was a poor boy named Jack. He lived with his mother in a tiny little cottage which had a tiny little garden. Jack's father was dead, and Jack tried to help his mother as much as he could in the garden and with the milking of their cow. But Jack was a bit lazy, and he loved to play all day long with the other little children who lived nearby.
Lovely morning, lovely morning, lovely morning. It's a lovely, lovely morning, lovely morning. The wind is blowing, flowers are blooming, sun is rising up, up, up. Oh yes, up, up, up. Let's start playing. Let's start playing. Let's start playing. Let's start playing. Let's start having good fun playing. Let's start playing. The blind man's buff and catching crook and cops and robbers. Hop, hop, hop. Come on, hop, hop, hop. Donkey said, ho-hee. Monkey jumped up the tree. 1, 2, 3, dingle-dee, dingle, dingle, dingle-dee. Out! Bang! 1, 2, 3, dingle, dingle, dingle-dee. Donkey said, ho-hee. Monkey jumped up the tree. 1, 2, 3, dingle-dee, dingle, dingle, dingle-dee. Out! Hey! Catch me! Oh! Catch me!
So this was how Jack played every day, all day long. But one day, Jack's mother found that there was no money left in the cupboard. She had no money to buy bread or anything to eat for dinner, and she was really worried. Now all they had left in the world was their cow. Finally, she decided that she would have to send Jack to the fair in the town to sell their cow. She was quite sad and tearful at the thought of selling their cow, but she really didn't know what else she could do. I am penniless, I don't know what to do. My life is in a mess, I don't know what to do. We are so poor and we only have a cow. I'm so sad that we have to sell her now. We are so poor and we only have a cow. I'm so sad that we have to sell her now. I am penniless, I don't know what to do. My life is in a mess, I don't know what to do. So, the next morning, Jack's mother woke him up early and told him to take the cow to the fair in the town and to sell her there. She told Jack to get a good price for her, as they had nothing else left in the world. Jack was not very happy about this, and he was going to miss his cow, but he knew his mother needed the money very badly. So he set off down the road to town with his cow in front of him.
To the fair in the town I go. To sell my cow I go. My cow, my poor cow. How I am going to miss you. But don't you worry. I will come always to visit you. You will get a new home. I will get some money. Mother will be able to give me bread and honey. To the fair in the town I go. To sell my cow I go. My cow, my poor cow. How I am going to miss you. But don't you worry. I will come always to visit you. You will get a new home. I will get some money. Mother will be able to give me bread and honey.
Soon, as Jack was walking along the road, he saw an old man walking towards him. He was very old and had a long white beard. As Jack came closer to him, the old man spoke.
Good day to you, young man, and where are you going on such a fine day?
Good day to you, sir. I am going to the fair in the town to sell my cow.
Oh, you don't say. Meh. Will you sell it to me, young man?
Sure, if you can pay for it, sir.
Well, look here, young man. I have the most wonderful magic beans in the whole world. Now, these beans will make you very rich. I will give them all to you if you give me your old cow, of course. Now, what do you say?
Wow! Magic beans? They do look good. Okay, you can have her. But can I come and visit her?
Oh, yes, of course. Any time. I just live down the road in a little green cottage. Meh. Meh.
So Jack said goodbye to his cow and told her that he would visit her soon. He then said goodbye to the old man and turned back to walk home to his mother.
To my home back again I go. To have my dinner I go. My cow, my poor cow. I have sold her to an old man, but he has told me to visit her
When Jack's mother heard his story, she was very upset. She scolded Jack for getting beans instead of money for their cow. Now she could buy no bread, no butter, no honey, no nothing. She angrily threw the beans out of the window and sent Jack to bed without any dinner. Poor Jack! He didn't sleep very well because he was so hungry. But goodness me, the beans were magic, for in the morning the first thing that Jack heard was his mother shouting for him. "Jack! Jack! Come soon! Come and see the new beanstalk in our garden. It is so very tall, it must have grown from the magic beans." Jack ran down into the garden, and there he saw the new beanstalk. It was taller and stronger than any tree, and it had grown so quickly that its top seemed to touch the sky. Jack made up his mind to climb up right to the very top. His mother was frightened, but before she could stop him, he began to climb up.
It's fun to climb the beanstalk, climbing, climbing high and high. To solve an unknown mystery, to a faraway destiny, going in a distant land to see what is there beyond. Climbing, climbing up the sky, climbing, climbing high and high. It's fun to climb the beanstalk, climbing, climbing up the sky. It's fun to climb the beanstalk, climbing, climbing high and high.
Up, up, up he went, not daring to look downwards. Jack climbed higher and higher, above the house, above the trees, and even above the clouds. At last he reached the very top of the beanstalk. He was in a new land, and though he didn't know it, he was in the country of giants. He set off down the road that he saw in front of him, and soon he came to a big castle. Now, children, if you remember, Jack had not had any dinner the day before or any breakfast before he started climbing the beanstalk, and so you can imagine how very hungry he was. So he ran up boldly to the door of the castle and knocked loudly. A very tall lady opened the door, and she was very surprised to see Jack there. When Jack asked her for something to eat, she said he couldn't come in because her husband the giant would be home soon, and he would surely eat Jack up in 3 bites. But Jack said he was not afraid of giants, and he was ever so hungry. At last the old lady took pity on him and led him into the kitchen. Though she was a bit frightened, just as Jack had sat down on the huge table, the whole castle began to shake, and he could hear loud noises. Thud, thud, thud. Yes, the giant was coming home. He made such a big noise with his huge boots.
fo, fum. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Ooh! Ah! Ooh! Be he alive or be he dead, I will grind his bones to make my bread. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Ooh! Ah! Ooh! Be he clever or be he dumb, I can crush him with my single thumb. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Ooh! Ah! I'm a giant and I'm so strong, I will find his hideout before long. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Wow! Wow!
Now the lady was really very frightened, and she pushed Jack into the huge oven and shut the door just in time. The old lady didn't want Jack to be eaten up, so she told the giant that there was no one in the castle. She gave him such a huge dinner that he forgot about everything else. When the giant had eaten, he shouted to the old woman to bring his golden harp and his magic hen that lay golden eggs. The magic harp began playing such a sweet lullaby that soon the giant fell asleep and began snoring loudly. Now Jack had opened the door of the oven and was waiting to come out. As soon as he heard the snores of the giant, he crept out of his hiding place. He picked up a sack that was lying nearby, picked up the magic harp and the magic hen, and shoved them inside the sack. But the hen started squawking loudly, and as Jack ran out of the castle, the harp cried out, "Master! Master!" All this noise woke up the sleeping giant, and he opened his eyes to see Jack running out of the castle with his treasures. With a terrible roar, he jumped up and started running after Jack. By this time, Jack had reached the beanstalk and was already climbing down. Now the giant was nearly at the beanstalk and was going to climb down after Jack.
Run, 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 run fast, Jack.
slid down faster and faster, and at last he reached the bottom. His mother was waiting in the garden and was watching him come down. Jack told her to get an axe quickly. By now the giant was coming closer and closer. Jack's mother ran and got him an axe, and Jack started chopping the beanstalk as fast as he could. Soon he cut it off completely. The giant and the beanstalk came crashing down, and the wicked giant was killed at once.
Mama, take it. Here is a harp I got for you. Hold it, listen to the sweet and lovely music too. Oh Jack, dear Jack, I like the golden harp you brought. It plays sweetly. I like the music it has got. Mama, take it. Here is a hen so marvelous. Touch the shiny golden eggs she gives for us. Oh Jack, dear Jack, they are wonderful, my boy. I'm so happy. Life will now be full of joy.
So, children, you heard Jack showing his wonderful treasures to his mother, and how very happy she was to see him safe and sound. Now, I'm sure Jack will never ever have to go to bed without any dinner again, and his mother will never be penniless again. So, children, Jack and his mother lived happily ever after. Long, long ago, there lived a little girl with her mother and father in a little cottage at the edge of the woods. The little girl's father was a woodcutter, and every day he went out to fell trees in the woods. Right in the middle of the woods lived the little girl's grandmother, who one day made her granddaughter a lovely bright red riding hood and cloak. The little girl wore her hood and cloak whenever she went out, and also red shoes and a red ribbon in her hair to match. So everybody called her Little Red Riding Hood. Now, Red Riding Hood's grandmother loved to send her presents very often, like pretty red dresses or yummy things to eat like chocolate cake or biscuits. She knew a friendly rabbit who lived near her, and he would bring the presents to Red Riding Hood as Granny was too old to walk all that way.
I'm a little rabbit, nice and fluffy rabbit. When I see a carrot, I just go and grab it. Jumpity jumpity jump, jump, jumpity jump, jump. Jumpity jumpity jump, jump, jumpity jump, jump. I leap in the garden, nice and grassy garden. When I see the farmer, down the corner I run. I leap in the garden, nice and grassy garden. When I see the farmer, down the corner I run. Down the corner I run, down the corner I run. Hoppity hoppity hop, hop, hoppity hop, hop. Hoppity hoppity hop, hop, hoppity hop, hop. I play with the birdies, nice and feathery birdies. When I feel like napping, I lie among the daisies. I play with the birdies, nice and feathery birdies. When I feel like napping, I lie among the daisies. I lie among the daisies. I lie among the daisies. Zzz, grrr, zzz, grrr, zzz, grrr, zzz, grrr. I'm a little rabbit, nice and fluffy rabbit. When I see a carrot, I just go and grab it.
Every time the rabbit bought presents from Granny, Red Riding Hood would give the good old rabbit a fresh, crunchy carrot from her garden because she knew that rabbits love carrots. One morning, Red Riding Hood was playing in the garden with all the lovely butterflies flitting around.
Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. Flying all over, flower to flower, looking so pretty and nice. Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. Pink and red and blue, flying in a row, in multicolors too, like a rainbow. Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. To my left and right, fluttering around, in colors gay and bright, flying round and round. Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. Flying all over, flower to flower, looking so pretty and nice. Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies. Butterflies, butterflies, butterflies.
Suddenly, she saw the rabbit come hopping into her garden. This time he wasn't carrying any presents. He seemed to be a bit worried.
Good morning, Mr. Rabbit. What's the matter? You seem to be worried about something. I came running to tell you that poor Granny is very, very sick. She is lying in bed covered up with a quilt.
Now, Red Riding Hood's mother heard the rabbit's voice and she came out to see what was wrong.
Oh, Mrs. Hood, poor Granny is very, very sick. She is lying in bed covered with a quilt. She cannot get up. She cannot walk. She cannot cook. And she doesn't even have anything to eat.
Thank you, Mr. Rabbit, for bringing us the news. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known that Granny is sick. As the rabbit turned to go away, Red Riding Hood stopped him and gave him his carrot. The rabbit hadn't expected one, as he hadn't brought a present. He was really pleased to get one. And thanking her, he hopped away, munching his carrot. So Red Riding Hood's mother hurried into the kitchen to see what she could send for poor Granny. She was quite worried and wanted to send Red Riding Hood across as soon as possible. Oh dear, Granny is sick, Granny is sick, Granny is sick. Oh dear, Granny is sick, Granny is sick, Granny is sick. I must think of something quick. Oh dear, Granny is sick. Let me make some bread and take some cheese and make some salad with green peas. Pack them in a basket carefully. My girl will take it to Granny. Oh dear, Granny is sick, Granny is sick, Granny is sick. Oh dear, Granny is sick, Granny is sick, Granny is sick. I must think of something quick. Oh dear, Granny is sick. Little Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood. I hope you have understood. Little Red Riding Hood. Watch out for the bad wolf pondering and keep on without wandering. Tell your grandmother to get well soon and come home in the afternoon. Little Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood. I hope you have understood. Little Red Riding Hood. So, Red Riding Hood put on her hood and cloak and she set off towards the woods on her way to Granny's house with the basket on her arm. This was the first time she was going to Granny's house all by herself and she was feeling quite excited and grown up. It was a lovely day and all the birds were singing and the wind was blowing her pretty red cloak about. children, the wicked old wolf was wandering around the woods looking for something to eat, and soon he saw Little Red Riding Hood walking all alone carrying a big basket on her arm. Now Red Riding Hood had never seen a wolf before, and she thought he was a funny-looking old man. The wolf came up to her, and changing his voice so as not to frighten her, he spoke to her very politely.
Oh, hello, pretty girl. And where are you off to on this fine, fine morning?
I'm taking this basket of food for my grandmother. Poor Granny is sick.
Do you have to go far, little girl?
No, not far. My Granny's cottage is right in the middle of the woods.
Now the wolf was very hungry, as he had not eaten for many days. All the little animals in the woods were too clever for him and would run away as fast as they could whenever he tried to catch any of them. So when the wolf heard that poor Granny was lying helplessly in bed, he decided to get to the cottage before Red Riding Hood and eat up poor Granny. And then he would eat up Red Riding Hood when she got there. And of course he would also eat up all the goodies in the basket. Dear me, what a greedy and wicked wolf he was. So he thought of a clever plan to delay Red Riding Hood.
Little girl, you still have lots of time. Now, why don't you, let's see, pick up some of these pretty flowers for your Granny. I'm sure she will feel much, much better.
Oh, yes, what a good idea. I will pick flowers in different colors and take a whole bunch to Granny.
Well, bye-bye, little girl. And remember, be careful, because the woods are a very dangerous place for a girl all on her own.
Bye-bye.
Well, farewell.
So off sped the big bad wolf as fast as he could to Granny's cottage.
Hum, a little Red Riding Hood. Oh, yum, yum, she is good for my food. Oh, hum, a little Red Riding Hood. Oh, yum, yum, she is good for my food. How clever I am, terrific is my plan. Soon I will get to eat as much as I can. Oh, hum, a little Red Riding Hood. Oh, yum, yum, she is good for my food. I will speak like Red Riding Hood and enter Granny's house. I will eat her up in one big gulp and wear her hat and blouse. I will lie in her Granny's bed without making a noise. Call her inside when she comes in her Granny's voice. When she comes close, I will gobble her fast. My hungry stomach will be full at last.
Soon he reached Granny's cottage and knocked on the door. He was going to try and change his voice and speak sweetly like Little Red Riding Hood so that Granny would let him in.
Who is it?
It's Little Red Riding Hood, Granny. Mummy has sent you something to eat.
Lift up the latch, my dear, and come in.
The wicked wolf opened the door and entered Granny's cottage. When the old lady saw the great wolf with his long red tongue and sharp white teeth, she jumped from her bed and ran out of the back door before the wolf could catch her. The wolf wanted to chase her, but since Red Riding Hood would be arriving any minute, he thought he'd eat her first and then go looking for Granny. He opened Granny's cupboard and put on her nightdress and nightcap. He also put on Granny's glasses, which she had left behind in her hurry. Then he slipped into bed and pulled the quilt over him. When Little Red Riding Hood at last reached the cottage, she knocked on the door. This time the wolf tried to imitate Granny's voice, and Little Red Riding Hood thought that Granny's voice was hoarse as she was sick.
Who is it?
It's Little Red Riding Hood, Granny. Mummy has sent you something to eat.
Lift up the latch and come in, my dear.
Little Red Riding Hood opened the door and entered the cottage and went and sat down on the bed next to the wolf, thinking that it was her poor sick grandmother. The wolf tried to hide himself as well as he could under the quilt so that she wouldn't run away in fright.
Are you feeling better, grandmother?
I am feeling sicker, my dear.
I brought some lunch, grandmother.
I can hardly munch, my dear.
I brought some flowers, grandmother.
I have waited hours, my dear.
What big arms you have, grandmother.
All the better to hold you with, my dear.
What big ears you have, grandmother.
All the better to hear you with, my dear.
What big eyes you have, grandmother.
All the better to see you with, my dear.
What big teeth you have, grandmother.
All the better to eat you with, my dear. Now come here.
And with that, the wolf threw off the quilt and tried to grab her, but Red Riding Hood screamed loudly and jumped off the bed just in time. She ran about the cottage screaming for help, with the wolf chasing her, trying to catch her.
Let me gobble you, let me... Ah, you look delicious, the table is set. Aha, now we can my fork and knife, all my napkins and plates. Ah, what a meal.
In the meanwhile, Mr. Rabbit, who lived nearby, had seen the big bad wolf enter Granny's cottage. He at once guessed the wolf's wicked plans to eat up Granny and Red Riding Hood. So he ran as fast as he could to Red Riding Hood's father, who was chopping wood a short distance away. He begged Red Riding Hood's father to come quickly with his axe and explained as fast as he could about the wolf being inside Granny's cottage. Red Riding Hood's father wasted no time and came running to Granny's cottage with his axe. He broke the door open and swung his axe down on the wolf just as he was about to catch Red Riding Hood. Red Riding Hood ran into her father's arms thankfully. And Granny crept back into her cottage when she heard the rabbit calling her. And Red Riding Hood ran to hug her as well. Granny got back into bed and ate up all the things in the basket and felt really so much better. The rabbit and Red Riding Hood, Granny and Red Riding Hood's father all decided that they would sing and dance for joy now that the wicked wolf was dead.
Thank God, Red Riding Hood is saved. Thank God, her grandmother is saved.
Thank God I happened to be near. Thank God the rabbit I could hear.
Thank God, the rabbit was close by. Thank God, he heard me run and cry.
Thank God for sending help in time. Thank God, for God is so sublime.
So now, children, Little Red Riding Hood and her mother and father, Granny and Mr. Rabbit and all the other animals in the woods never had to worry about the big bad wolf again. Red Riding Hood went back home with her father to tell her mother about her exciting adventure. Did you like the stories, children?
Yes, one more, please. Yes, one more, please. One more. Just one more, please.
Okay, you will have many more interesting stories. Don't worry, we will meet again soon. Bye, children, bye.